Well, there you are. I'm excited to see you. Hey, come on in. Come on in. Let's spend a little time together. It's always great that you stop by for a visit. I hope that you're telling your friends and your neighbors and your associates and all the people in your inner circle about what we do here. Would be most appreciative for that. Hey, I'm Lou Vickery and noted as the voice of generational wisdom. That's what happens, see, when you live long enough. But today we're going to talk about organizing our thoughts for better time management. It's amazing how much time we waste thinking about this, thinking about that, thinking about the other. So it may not be an issue for you, but I guarantee you in this day and age, it's an issue for a lot of people because there's a lot of things going on. You know, a significant factor in our time is found in our use of time is found how we organize our thoughts. You know, time is the one resource that's distributed equally to all of us. As we know, each day has the same number of hours, the same number of minutes, and the same number of seconds. One thing we can count on is that's never going to change. Now, what's going to change is this. It's how we use the hours, the minutes, and the seconds that we have. The great paradox of time is that there's nothing more unequal than its usage. Time is worth nothing. It's how we use our time that puts a value on it. Time is also like talent. I probably haven't thought about this, but it's like talent in the sense we can't create more of it, but we can make the best use of the time we have. Spending time more wisely has at its very beginning paying closer attention to how we spend it. What is the biggest waste of time? Well, according to the experts, it's inability to get and stay organized. Now, there are many forms of organization of time, but what we want to spend our time on today is being mentally organized. I want to share several points with you about being mentally organized. Have you ever heard the term brain map? Some people call it mind map. I've always used the term brain map. But I think it's a major way to help organize your thought process. I would get a big, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I draw a circle in the middle, and that was my main focus. And this is what I used when I was talking, because I don't particularly like to use notes when I'm giving a speech. I would much prefer just to brain map. So I would start with a big circle in the middle, and for example, it might be motivation. And then I would have 4 or 5 points that I would space off from the major point. So it's like an Earth with several moons, if you will. Every time I think about speaking, I remember well what I come from a family, a lot of ministers in it. And one of my uncles who was a minister expressed to me, and this has nothing to do with what we're sharing today. I'm digressing a bit here. But he would tell me, he says, Lou, there's 2 things that you got to remember about being a speaker. Well, maybe 3 things. He says you got to have a good beginning, and you got to have a good ending, and you need to make them close as possible together. Well, I better get moving here, or I'm going to have that kind of problem with what I want to share with you today. But brain mapping, it's simple. It's just making sure that you focus on what you need to do to make something in particular happen. It is to bring mental clarity to a situation. So if you bring that is of interest to you, read about it. Take some time to read about it. A second point I want to make is that you need to scrutinize what you hear. I think there's a tendency to have mental clutter because we focus on this, we focus on that, we find ourselves moving in several different directions. We'll grab a hold of this, grab a hold of that, and that's not all bad. But we do it too much, I think, because it sounds good. So carefully scrutinize, question, or test. Will it work for me? Why spend time on it unless it will work for you? Brilliant revelations that bounce off the walls of our mind are only sufficient if they apply to us. So keep that in mind. Closely related to that is the practice of discernment. Discernment, be definitive about the information that you take in. Practice defining what will be useful and what will not be useful. Filter out that which does not apply to your mission. And I think sometimes it's very important that we be more discerning about what others say and do when it relates to us. You know, what others say and do can only affect you and I if we're allowed. You know, I've always kidded that people said, well, you know, you've been around the spotlight and people talk good about you and people talk not so good about you. And my theory is always this: I don't mind if you talk good. I don't mind if you talk bad. Just keep talking about me, right? But we just cannot take that and internalize it, because you see, we spend too much time thinking about something that we can do nothing about. I can't do anything about what you think or the actions that you are engaged in, but I can do something about how I view it. And that's important. Practice discernment. And one of my favorite is always to focus and possess more attentive presence on important things. Focus. Be attuned to what's important for you and take that information in and digest it. Again, mind clutter. And don't be upset by redirection. Life is full of inherent disorder. That's true. It is. We have to learn to enjoy the detours as we travel our path through life. Make the most of the detours. It's always best to prefer that things are conditioned to be different and to expect them to be different. So focus on those things that will further where you're headed and what your mission is that you hope to accomplish. I'm a great believer in writing things down. Carry a little notebook in your pocket and just make yourself notes. Now, I know we can do that with a computer, but I'm old school and I understand that. But I don't care if you do it with your computer, in your phone, iPhone, wherever you have possession of something, write it down and create a sticky note, a post-it note wall. How about that? We can do just things that are served as a reminder. Keep the moving parts in a place where you can digest. That makes sense? The quickest way to improve many things is to improve only one thing at once. One thing at once. You know what that is? I call it monotasking. M-O-N-O tasking. Do you monotask? Spend time with this and spend time here and spend the time over there. But focus on the one thing that needs to be done now, immediately. You've heard me talk here about now focus. Make it a part of your life. Now focus and use now courage to do it. So the quickest way to get a lot of things done is to do one thing at once, is to monotask. Do you classify the information that you get? You know, many listeners on my radio show always enjoyed what I call myself the proprietor of useless information. For example, how many notches in a dime? There's 110. Well, why should we waste time doing that? Focus on things like that, right? We can look that up on the computer in a moment's notice. So things that you don't use regularly, you don't have to spend time focusing on those. Focus on the things that count, the things that's important. So I want to emphasize to always read and study with a purpose. I rarely read anything without making notes as I go. See, I have a purpose in mind because it will help me right here where I sit and what I do. But what information will be beneficial to you? Remember, you don't know all you need to know about what you should know. So keep on learning, but learn the things that are important to you. My final point is keep your thoughts positive. That's right. Keep them positive. And the final analysis, that will make the biggest difference in how effective your thoughts will be going forward. Keep them positive. I want to share a little point with you as it's real short as we close. You know, thinking about the mind and the body. We have two winning ends. They have a common link. With the bottom end we move, and the top end we think. And our success depends on how we maximize their use. The common sense tells us with both we win, one we lose. Probably had nothing to do with what we talked about today, but I ran across it. I wanted to share it with you. Organize their thoughts. Maximize the use of your time. That's our message for today. I'm Lou Vickery, and I would appreciate if you pass along what we're doing. Just get 5 people to subscribe. If you do, I'd be most thankful. But also check out the website. We got a new book coming up, May 7th. We'll be telling you more about it as we go along. And we're in the month of April as we do this. So, I forget it. We're doing a video that almost time is sitting. Huh? So until we meet again, I'm Lou Vickery, and you keep a smile on your face, happiness in your heart, optimism on your tongue. See you soon.